Welcome everybody, 11 grams here, and we are playing Farm Sim 22. We are gonna do a how-to on grapes. So if you watched a couple of my previous videos, we were trying some stuff out, and I thought I was doing grapes wrong, but I wasn't. I just wasn't waiting long enough. So we're gonna do a how-to on grapes, and as well as the production of grapes and what they produce and what we can sell. So let's get right into it. So as you can see, I have some equipment laid out here that we need in order to do our grape production. So a couple things. What's 100% needed? This mulcher, this cultivator, this pruner is what they call it, and then you need a small tractor. Uh, Depending on how many grapes or olives you're going to grow, because this as well works for olives, all this machinery, is whether or not you're going to need this fertilizer. So if you're doing just a small patch, a regular fertilizer will work that can get a decent distance, because all you need to do is fertilize it. They recommend this so you can get in between the grapevines, and you 100% would need this if you have a bigger field that you can't get a regular fertilizer through. When it comes to tractors, they recommend this tractor for harvesting grapes as well, or not harvesting, for working with grapes as well as olives, just because of the size. You can use any small tractor, but I highly suggest using this one and or this guy right here. They don't have this in the suggestions, but you can use this for grapes and olives as well. That's why I put him there. Uh, it just I used small tractors before without buying this when I first tested out grapes, and the small tractors are still a little bit wider than this and hard to get through the uh, spaces for the grapes and the olives. And then you're going to need a harvester. And there is only this one harvester for harvesting grapes. So, if you go into your menu right here, not this menu, if you go into this menu and you go up to packs and you go over to grapes right here, it is also going to tell you all the equipment that you need. I did not grab this trailer. This trailer you can use as well if you want to tip your, or if you want to load your grapes into a trailer. This is the grape trailer. I didn't pick that for this purposes because I think everybody really knows how to use a trailer. Um, and everything's close that I need, so I'm not going to have to dump this into a trailer. I can dump this right where I need it. So let's get started. So as you can see, I already have some grapes here from the last test that I tried to do, and I figured out what we did. So these ones are ready to harvest. These ones have been harvested, and then I'm going to show you how to put grapes down. So you're going to need to go into your menu here. You got to go down to the three lines, and you're going to go over to construction. When you're in construction here, you're going to head to the production tab, and then you're going to head to orchards, and you're going to pick either grapes or olives. We're doing grapes right now, so we're going to pick grapes. So let me get in closer here. So it gives you a pole. Now, see when I get close to this grapevine, the pole disappears. That means we're too close and we can't start our grapes there. So we're just going to move over a little bit until we can see that pole, and we're going to press A, and now, as you can see, we can put some grapes down. So now we're going to get to the end. I'm going to move it over and see how it attaches there. We've gone too far, so now I'm just going to pop it over just a little bit, and we should be straight. We should have enough room to get all of our machines there, and it's not going to be too far apart that we're going to have to make too many passes. and we're just going to plant it right there. So if you put your poles too far apart, so let's say I put this over here, you would have to make a couple passes with your cultivator and your mulcher in order to prepare this properly. So we're going to do one more. I'm going to start it right there. And we're going to bring her down. And we're going to go to here. We're going to move over a little bit. Oh, attach. Ooh. It's very, very, you got to be... Oh, stop it. Let's just go right there. So that should be good. So, we have now planted our grapes. If you look at the grapevines, there's nothing on them. We have grass underneath them. And, excuse me, it's just going to start growing. You're going to see that it is in a growing state. This is fertilized 50% already, and that's because I already did a pass with fertilizer for the other ones. So this field got it. So if this was 0%, you would have to fertilize a couple times. So we have to wait for this to start growing. We're going to go head back to the farm. Oh. We're going to sleep for a day. And I'm hoping that this does not wreck everything else that I've done. I don't know if the grapes ready to harvest will wither or not, so I guess we'll find out, and hopefully this doesn't ruin our tutorial. I could cut this out, but for the 2 seconds that we're going to be doing that, there's no need to cut it out. Alright, so we're back at our grapevines here. You can see that they are now starting to grow. There is grass growing here as well. These ones are still good, and these ones are still ready to harvest. Perfect. So, I'm going to use this guy because I haven't used him yet. So we're going to hop into our tractor. And we're going to go and grab our mulcher. Oh, you know what? I guess we'll find out. So I haven't used this guy yet. I assume we can mulch backwards, but we'll find out in a minute. Alright. I forgot that I have manual transmission on now. Alright, so let's turn on our mulcher. Let's lower our mulcher. Let's go. Okay, so it does work backwards. That's good. Looks like we might have to do 2 passes anyways on this guy. I keep running into the poles. So yes, there is collision. You have to be careful. You run into poles apparently very easily. This this tractor is very it turns on a dime. See? So you got to be careful with that. Oh boy. So if you're going to use this guy, be prepared. He turns on a dime. Alright. You should only have to do one pass down here. I guess it makes sense that you'd have to do 2 passes because each side of the grass, or each side of the pole has grass, so I guess it makes sense. This tractor's really hard to use. And let's go down here. So when you are mulching, you should get as close as you can. You want most of that grass from under the poles gone, just like that. And there you have it. So we're mulched. So the next thing we have to do is, where's our other tractor? We're going to use this guy for this one. And we are going to take manual transmission off, because we just don't want to have to deal with it. So let's go back up to our cultivator here. And let's go cultivate. Now we have to cultivate in between these fields. So this should only need 1 pass because this guy is big enough. So let's get this guy going. There we go. And we're going to cultivate down the next one. Would it be better to do 2 passes? Honestly, I don't know. The grapes I have done in the past, I haven't even mulched 2 passes. I've got 100% fertilizer, and I think I've got a decent yield out of them as well. But, I mean, I guess it's always the better you do, the better chances you have in a better yield, right? And I don't know if you have to do down the outside pass of this one, but we're going to. So I do know that when you mulch and you cultivate, it gives it a fertilized state. So I don't know if this is going to give us 100% or not, or if we're going to have to fertilize. So we're going to find that out in a second. So we are done with you. And no, we are 50% fertilized still. Okay, so let's go grab our fertilizer spreader. I enjoy the fact that you can hear them switching gears, and they have to switch gears on the tractors now, but it does slow everything down just a little bit by doing that. Alright, so get our fertilizer. Go down our field here, see how this thing's going to fit just perfectly. Now let's back up a little bit so we can see. Turn this guy on, and we should be fertilizing. Should be fertilizing. Because it had that 50% fertilizer state originally, I don't know if that's going to give us 100% yet. We might have to wait some more growth. A close. So we're probably going to have to fertilize one more time. We're not going to do that for the tutorial, but keep in mind, 100% growth, or 100% fertilizer is what we want for the best yield. So it still has a couple more days of growing, I would put a passive fertilizer down it on its next grow state. Okay, so now that these are ready to grow, the only thing we have to worry about is fertilizing them again. The next step would be to harvest our grapes. So you're going to get in this guy. Now when you get in this guy, he's going to be like this. So you're going to need to unfold him, where he'll lift up like that. And then you're going to want to pull up to your grapes. You can do this a bunch of different ways, however you want to do it. Turn him on. And go. It's as easy as that. You know, we are harvesting grapes. As you can see, I already had some grapes in here. So I did not mulch that, as you can see, all the way to the poles. And I have no problem getting 100% fertilizer on these. Aesthetically, it looks nicer if you do it all the way to the poles. But you don't have to. So you just go down your pass like that. The grapes will harvest. I guess, let's get out and take a look really quick. So this is what the grapes look like when they are ready to harvest. This is what it looks like when it's ready to prune. And this is what it looks like after you harvest it. So after you harvest it, you can't take your pruner to it right away, and I'll show you that. And this is what it looks like as it's growing. So when this grows up, it will look like this until it's ready to harvest. So don't get confused with this and that one, because they will look the same pretty much, but be two different states. So just double check that it says growing. And over here, you're going to notice that this says withered. So when it said withered when I was originally doing it, I thought I did something wrong because I couldn't use the pruner or anything on that. Let's finish harvesting these, and then I will show you the next step. Oh, helps if we turn it on, eh? And it helps if we're lined up. I actually enjoy doing it from inside the cab. As long as your steering wheel is pretty much here, you'll go straight down. You shouldn't collide into anything. Just drive it. Get a point on the screen that you think works, where you're not running into anything, and make sure you're always within that line, and you should be fine if you want to harvest from inside the cab. Starting around. So we should be able to just pull right up to this guy like this, and we should go right on. See? I find harvesting easy. I don't crash very much harvesting. It's when I'm trying to mulch and cultivate and get close that I crash into the holes more. We got one more row to do, and then I will show you the next step. So technically the next step would be pruning the grapes after we're done harvesting them, but you can't prune them right away. Hopefully I gave myself enough room to do this. Get on there. Come on. No? There we go. Works. I don't know if that damages the machine or not, but works. We got on. I should have gave myself more room to start out, but we're good. Alright, we're going to go to the outside view again, because we're going to be off to our next project. Oh boy. Apparently I should have stayed on the inside view, because I can harvest better that way. Okay, so now that we have our grapes harvested, you can either directly sell them, or you can turn them into something else using the production chains that we have now, and it's supposed to give you more money. So, I have put down a sweet and sour raisins, which is a grape mill over here. Let's not get into the landscaping aspect of this game right now because I am not very good with the landscaping tool. I don't know how it works. So, if you go into constructions, you go into production again, you're going to see factory, sell point, greenhouses, orchards, and generators. So, orchards is where we got our vines. So, now you can put down factories for production places. So, you just find the one that you need. It shows you over here. So, grape processing unit obviously takes grapes. So, you just place that down like you would any other shed building or anything like that. And now you can turn grapes into. I'm not going to go back to that screen, but you can either turn it into grape juice or raisins. So we're going to back up into here. So where you see the trailer is where you would tip into. So let's tip those in. This is where, if this was farther away, you would tip this into your grape trailer, and then you drive your grape trailer here to do that. So the reason why we're doing this first before we prune our grapes is because we can't prune our grapes yet. So as I said, so these are ready or harvested and they're withered. It has to look like this before we can prune them. So we would make sure time's sped up or however you want to do it. And while we're waiting for that to go, we would go back over to our. We would bring our grapes to production if we want to produce them into something. So we would do that while we're waiting for the grapes to grape leaves to turn brown. So once you dump your grapes into here, you then come over here, go into our menu, and as you can see, we have raisins. You know what? I'm going to use my mouse for this. We have raisins and we have grape juice. So for every, I'm guessing, 90 liters of grapes, we get 90 liters of raisins. And for grape juice, every 90 liters of grapes, we get 72 liters of grape juice. That is my guess as to what that means. I'm going to assume I'm right on that. So you can either turn it into both, or you can pick which one you want to turn it into. So for this, we're just going to do both. I would normally go into my map here and I would go and see what grapes, raisins, and grape juice are selling for. Um, Grapes themselves look like they sell for a very decent price. If I go down to where's grape juice? Grape juice sells for a lot more, and raisins sell for a lot more. Um, you get less grape juice, but it sells for double the price of raisins. So I think grape juice would probably be the way to go. So actually, we're gonna turn this into grape. Not that I need the money, but we're gonna turn this into grape juice. So all you do is pick the one that you want, and then you go down here to activate. Hit activate. It will say it's running. It's going to run 3 cycles per hour at $2 an hour, and you're gonna see this starting to fill up with grape juice. So while that's working, we're going to come back over here, hop into our tractor. First, we're going to speed up time. Let's go to 30. And I'm just doing that so I can show you the grape juice production. So we're gonna come over here. We're gonna grab this machine now. So this is the last task that we have to do before our grapes will start growing again. We're gonna hook up to this. We are going to unfold it, turn it on, lower it, and now this should prune the leaves off our grapevines, and it will be ready to grow again. I would say next season, but we're not playing seasons on this map. So it'll be ready to grow again right away. It should start growing and we'll have more grapes. And I don't know, I think it takes about 5 or 6 days for them to grow. Let's do it from inside cab view. Actually, inside cab view's pretty cool. I like it. Oh. Don't run into us. Yeah, this is the hard part. When you run into holes. Alright, we're not going to do all 3 lines. And there we have it, guys. We are growing again. It is not fertilized at all. So that will need to be fertilized. And these should start turning next day. So let's go back to here. So the last thing we're going to go check on is this. If we go in here, you can now see in the bottom right corner, it is producing grape juice quickly because we sped up time to 30. If I go into the menu, you're going to see that it's storing. It's got 264 liters stored. And it is going up every time we move that. Apparently it doesn't show you when you're in that menu like it does down here. So you will see the grape juice should start showing up here. I don't know how many liters have to be in a container for it to show up. I guess we can find out if we speed up time. We'll see when it pops up. We're gonna move away. I don't know if no, nothing yet. 500 liters. There you go. So every 500 liters, you are going to get your grape juice. Sweetest taste. Perfect. All right. So let's put time back to normal, and there you have it, guys. We now have learned how to place our grapevines. Cultivate, mulch and cultivate and fertilize. Harvest, wait for it to turn brown so we can prune it. And don't be afraid that this says withered. Withered is good. It needs to wither away to turn brown so you can prune it. And I'm going to assume that happens next day. So, thanks for coming out. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned now how to do grapes, if you have your own suggestions, ways to maybe do it a little bit better, get a better yield, let me know. But this is a pretty quick guide to how to do grapes in Farm Sim 22 from start to end, along with production of either raisins or grape juice. Thanks for coming out. Hit a subscribe, hit a like, come back to the next video. We're going to try to do videos every day. We're going to hopefully do multiple videos every day that we can. And I will see you guys on the next one. This is 11 grams. Thanks for coming out.